Hey guys, Ricky here from MVP Sports, here to talk a little basketball with you guys. Yesterday, the New York Knicks introduced new head coach Derek Fisher, and I just wanted to get my opinions out on the matter when I'm naming the video. Is this the right fit for the Knicks moving forward? I think so. I think the Knicks, it was great that Phil Jackson went out and got Fisher, even though he was fined for talking to Fisher during the playoffs. It doesn't matter. And the reason being, yesterday I was watching the Dan Patrick show, and DP put it perfectly. Phil wants a guy that he could kind of channel his coaching through. That's why he wanted Steve Kerr. That's why he wants a guy with Derek Fisher. And I know the big kind of knock against Fisher is that he's not a head coach. He's never been a head coach. It's a real like first year head coach of just playing to coaching, and we saw how that kind of, I'm going to say, failed with Jason Kidd. But I think that Derek Fisher at his press conference hit it right. He said, and I quote, "I have not been a head coach in the NBA, college, or high school, but I am experienced. I'm experienced playing the games, dot, 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 and being a champion," end quote. And I feel like that's the big, besides the, what I said DP said, with Phil channeling his coaching strategy through Fisher. Fisher is a champion. He's been a leader on when he was with the Lakers. The Thunder basically brought him in to be a semi-leader, veteran presence on their bench to drive them to a championship, and it almost worked if they didn't have to play the San Antonio Spurs, who for the past 2 seasons have been the best team in the Western Conference. But Fisher being head coach of the Knicks, I love it. The only thing I'm thinking of is the Knicks moving forward with Fisher. And there's no doubt, the number one thing that Fisher has to do now that he has the job is he's got to meet with Melo. And if I'm Fisher, I've got all my rings on my fingers, and I just put my hands down and I go, okay, what are we gonna do here? Because Melo can opt out this offseason. Will he? Will he stay? Will he go? I don't know. I'm leaning towards Melo staying, but I'll get to that a little bit. Obviously, Fisher's got to lock up Melo if he wants success in New York. Other than that, I mean, Amari Stott, the only players that could technically leave this offseason, Melo, Amari Stoudemire. So, I mean, really, besides the guys who their contracts were up, the only two that could opt out, Stoudemire and Melo. After this season, next offseason, then you get the J.R. Smith player option, the Shumpert team option, the Raymond Felton player option, and you get a little bit more flexibility. There's also a team option with Tim Hardaway next offseason as well. This is what I think. The pitch to Melo is it's gonna be hard to keep him past next season because right now the Knicks are in a very, very bad situation. They have no draft picks. They their team, and I know that Phil Jackson has said they're going to be active to try to trade back into this year's draft. But I just don't see how they do it because the only two players I could see teams kind of doing a trade for or a sign and trade for, Melo, maybe Stoudemire, but that's not even 50% of me thinking that would happen. Really, Carmelo Anthony is the only person that could create a sign and trade opportunity for the Knicks in order to get draft picks. But really, in that case, you're saying, then what was the point? Because didn't we want to get draft picks in order to keep Melo? Isn't that the reason? And I feel like yet again, I don't think this is going to happen, but the two players that the Knicks need to think about trading to try to get first round talent, even though teams aren't going to give first round picks up for these players, Tyson Chandler, Andrea Bargnani. Chandler, maybe there might be a team that's like, here, we'll make a deal with you and get a first round pick. It'd be stupid in my mind, but there might be a team that does it. Bargnani, no team is going to give up a first round pick for Andrea Bargnani. So for me, I feel like it's really hard for the Knicks to try to trade back in to this draft without sweetening the deal a little bit, maybe swapping some first round picks, maybe not next year's draft, but in it would be what, the 2016 draft, maybe saying, okay, here's a first round pick there. Let's try to do something. Because looking forward, actually, the Knicks can't do that either. The Knicks, these are their draft picks. None this year. They have a first rounder in the 15 draft. And then in the 2016 draft, the Nuggets actually have the the chance to swap first round picks with the Knicks because of the Carmelo Anthony deal. So really, if they trade that pick away, it might end up being the Nuggets pick. To me, that's the only reason why Melo stays. This is my take on Melo with Fisher. Fisher's going to get Melo to stay for this upcoming season. Just 1 year. The reason being, Carmelo Anthony wants to play with LeBron James. Stephen A. Smith on the Carmen and Yurko radio show here in Chicago said that right now, if LeBron opts out, Melo opts out, realistically, there's no chance that LeBron can go to New York and they can play together, or vice versa, Melo to Miami. If both of them opt in, stay where they are for one more season, in 2015, then both of them can opt out. You'll have, for the Knicks at least, Stoudemire will be off the books if he doesn't opt out this offseason. Chandler will be off the books. Bargnani will be off the books. And like I said, they have player options. Possibly Smith could be gone. Felton could be gone. Shumpert, they could say, nuh-uh, we're not going to take your almost $4 million. There's a lot of cap room for the Knicks next offseason. So if if Fisher can talk to Melo to talk to LeBron and be like, hey, we got money coming. Sit through next season, talk to your buddy LeBron, bring him to New York. We can be successful moving forward, because I feel like the Knicks could have the room next offseason to kind of make a big three type of thing happen, where Melo, LeBron, and then just adding a big that the Knicks could do, and then they'll be successful. That's the only way I feel like Melo stays in New York, if Fisher pitches that idea to him. For Fisher overall in his Knick career, I feel like he's in great shape. He's got a guy like Phil Jackson to kind of be his mentor. And for everyone who's going to compare this to the Jason Kidd hiring last year, some situations, yeah, the New York situation isn't good. The Nets situation wasn't that good. But look, if you compare the management, I'd rather have Phil Jackson right behind me backing me up than some Russian guy that just trades away draft picks for players who are aging and probably should retire this offseason. So, I mean, to me, I feel like the Knicks, one thing Fisher's going to bring, and Amari Stoudemire said this, that he needs to, he's going to bring discipline to the New York Knicks. And don't be surprised, I'm going to say it, in 3 years at the least, that New York is back in the playoffs and they are a serious contender to win the finals. That's going to do it for me. I'm off my soapbox about Derek Fisher. Was it the right choice? Now it's time for you guys to tell me what you think. Leave your comments down below. Do you think Derek Fisher was the right hire? Do you think that Melo will stay? Can Derek Fisher get Melo to stay in New York? And where do you see this playing out in the next few years? Tell us that. Tell me that down below. Check out MVP Sports on Facebook and Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Going to have some cool stuff coming out. I just put out my World Cup predictions for all you World Cup fans out there. Follow the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. Tell me what you like below. And as always, have a good day, everybody.